Alright, welcome back guys. So today what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to make a gasket. We're mixing and matching some parts here, and we have the wrong camshaft for this particular housing, and we had to cut the end of the cam off, and that means we have to make a cover plate to put on here. Well, you can't just put the cover plate on there, you have to have a gasket, and I don't want to use silicone around here because that's going to squish everywhere. And so what we got is we got some gasket paper. We're going to show you how to make your own homemade gasket. So this is made by Felpro. It's about the thickness of a cereal box. In fact, in the old days, we used to use cereal boxes to make some of these gaskets like this. I can remember using the cornflakes blocks to make a cover gasket for on a Yamaha motorcycle. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the ball end of the hammer and work slowly around the outside, cutting out the outside edge, and then we'll very slowly use the ball end to cut out where the bolts go, where our cover plate's going to go on. You don't have to hit this very hard, even though this is aluminum, this is steel, of course. You don't have to hit this very hard because this edge is very sharp, and the gasket paper, it'll cut pretty easy. So without further ado, let's get started. We got this cut roughly to size, and we're just going to start on the outside, and we're just going to go nice and slow around the outside edge. And you start to see a shape develop. That's what we're looking for. Up to there, and you just keep going, nice and easy. You can see we're starting to get a line there where the housing is. And I mean, I'm barely touching that, just a little bit. And if it doesn't cut through, you just tap it a little bit more. Eventually it'll cut all the way through. Whenever this is done, this will be kind of like it's perforated. We'll have to pull the gasket out of the outside edge. Sometimes it'll come free, but we don't have to go that far with it. We don't have to go crazy. Here, and you see that ball end of that hammer fits right around all those little curves. You can see how the shape is starting to develop. See, it's starting to tear away already. And that ball is a little bit too big to get down in this corner, but that's okay. That's short enough. We can just tear that out. And it's actually holding itself on at this point. Now that I have it where it's kind of partially cut, you can see it's free right there, and it's kind of holding itself on so that it doesn't shift. We'll go ahead and do the holes for the bolts. And that's real easy. You just take the ball end of the hammer and just very lightly go right where the bolt holes, right where the bolts go. Since it's round and this is round, it's going to fit in there real nice. And what we're going to do when we're done is we'll use this gasket to make the template or as a template for the cover plate that's going to go on here. So from here, you see what that's starting to look like. It's starting to tear away, see? And we may have to, no, right there, look at that. Just very gently, don't want to tear it. Very gently pull that away. Now this part right here, there's a little flat there, and I don't really need to go around that, but we're going to just give that a few taps. And that should pull away. Gently. There it goes. And we're up here to our corners. We can try and go a little bit shallower with our hammer. And looks like we got that corner. I'm going to do this side. That looks pretty good. And just pull that away. At this point, I guess we can take it off. So pull that away there and there. And there it is. There's our gasket. See, we got our paper, which we'll use a little pick to pull that out. That's going to go in like that. So we're going to use this to make our, or as a template, to make the cover plate. Now after we make the steel cover plate, what I'll do is I'll clamp that in a vise and just run a file over the working side here, just to make sure that it's a little more flat. Metal, whenever you get it, isn't very flat. It's got waves in it, and it's, you know, curves and everything. So we'll run a flat file across that and make that all nice and even. And then we will use, although you can put this on there dry, it'll probably seal. I'm going to use a little bit of the brush on Permatex. It's like a brown, you know, brush on stuff, and or like Indian head. You can use that. Brush that on both sides. So we'll brush it onto here and then brush it on this side. Put our bolts in, and we're done. Hopefully you liked what you've seen. If you do, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe down below. Thanks for watching. See you next time.